Welcome to the Tarot Lab, where we poke things, test spreads, and occasionally get things right. I'm Jay, and this is Dr. Kotnik here, who is in charge of morale, snacks, and silently judging your shuffle.
Show me your hands!
In this video, I want to show you how to start reading tarot in 5 simple steps. Let's get to it. Every tarot reader needs a tarot deck, and I recommend starting with something classic like Rider-Waite-Smith deck. This is the deck that started, in my view, a tarot revolution because it changed the minor arcana to have images on them, and it made it super easy for anyone to understand and read tarot. Now, a lot of people will say that the classic Rider-Waite-Smith deck looks a little bit dated, and you have a few choices here. You can go with something really modern, one of my favorite decks, the Light Seers Tarot. You can go with Everyday Tarot. It's another beautiful deck which was created by a really big educator in the tarot world. Or you can use something I use daily. This is my favorite deck, the Rider-Waite Tarot. It's the pretty much exact copy of Rider-Waite-Smith, but it's got slightly more updated artwork. And I keep it in this pouch here. You don't have to get the pouch, you just need to get the cards. But this is what it looks like. Now, and the reason why I suggest you to get Rider-Waite-Smith or no any other decks is because there's a lot of information on the internet on how to use Rider-Waite-Smith deck, explanation of small details of images, and if you want to get access to this vast ocean of information, YouTube videos like mine, books, other people talking about tarot, this is probably the best place to start. And in the future, once you get more comfortable with your reading skills and remember the cards, you can branch out and try some of the other cooler looking decks. Now in step number 2, we're going to find a right book for you. And there are many great books. Believe me, there's probably more books out there than the actual decks. But as a person who just started out, things get really confusing. And that's the reason why I suggest you to get one of the books that I will just call them a tarot encyclopedia. It's basically a deck that goes into the meaning of each card and just give you a bit of overview of what we call a Fool Journey. And if you'd like me to make a video about Fool Journey, let me know in the comments below. This is probably one of my favorite books. And if you're a beginner or an experienced tarot reader, it's still a very useful book. You can think of it as an encyclopedia or a reference tool. You'll have all the Rider-Waite-Smith RWS cards here, some spreads, and we'll talk about in the spreads in another step, and the actual meaning of the cards. This particular book, and I'm not affiliated by any means, it's got a lot of information there, and you don't really need to know all of it. And I'll show you just in a second how you can make your life much easier than going into one of these pages. But this is going to be a reference point when you want to know more about the card or interpret the meaning, or maybe meditate a little bit on the meaning. And in the beginning, when you start reading, there's a lot of information here. Really, all you need to do, ignore the astrology and Kabbalah and any other things, including the reverse meaning for now. All you need to remember what the card looks like, the meaning of it here, just understanding what it's about. But the main thing is the upright meaning. And this is pretty much all you need to get from this book. So you think that having a deck and the book is probably enough, and you are correct. But there's going to be an issue. Whenever you, let's say, pull a card and you don't really know the deck that well, you're going to have an issue. It's going to break your flow, and it's going to become quite annoying, especially in the beginning. You get the card out, you look at it and thinking, what's this guy doing here with this pentacles? Is it something to do with coins? Is it something to do with him? Is he a king? Why is there a city behind? And then you have to open the book and look up the meaning of a card, where it's located, and it's okay, it's a pentacle suit, and in this actual card, and what it takes a lot of time. And what a lot of people do, they create a cheat sheet where you would have a bullet point meaning of each card. Like for instance, this one here, you can put there that is someone who is 2 tens, someone's holding off to the wealth, someone who is potentially is so tense about their wealth that they're afraid to make a move. And if you have a few of these bullet points, you can use it as a reference point, which sits on just one page. That'll make it super easy for you to read, and it's not going to break your flow and make the whole experience filled with friction. So what can you do here? You can start building your own cheat sheet based on the book I just showed you, or you can get the one from the internet. And let me show you the one that I've been using. When you work with the cards that don't follow Rider-Waite-Smith, it's often easy to get confused with the meanings, especially if the deck deviates a fair bit from the original imagery. And having a template like this one can be very helpful, especially if you're tired or you're reading for a lot of people or you're just starting out. This will have a couple of points for you to refresh your memory. As you progress, you'll start building your own meaning of this. And because it's on one page, it's much easier to go through it rather than looking in the book every time and flipping through it. So looking at our friend here, the Four of Pentacles, greed or desire for long-term security. So you've got your book to study the cards, you've got your deck, and you've got the cheat sheet. What is the next thing you're asking me? We need some spreads. Now, as with meanings, it gets super confusing because a lot of spreads out there. This is just one example of a book written on spreads, and there are a lot. And they all have a different meanings. And when you're starting out, this is not the place where you want to start because there's too many variables and you want to reduce it to a minimum. And my suggestion to you is to use only 2 spreads. Yes, you heard me. You don't need complicated, full with meaning spreads with many cards. The first of the spread is 1 card pull. That's simple. You pull it on a specific theme. For instance, you may want to ask yourself a question. I would like to know what the next day is bringing me. What's the theme of the day? And you pull a card. And then you consult your cheat sheet or you look in the book to get the meaning, and that's all you're going to be doing. The second spread I'll show you has not 1, not 2, but 3 cards. And what you will see in all the books, they will recommend using a spread that uses past, present, and future, like this one here. But what you will find very soon, if you're using this spread, you're going to run out of options or the use of this spread. For instance, if you're going to pull this every day, showing past, present, and future, what exactly are you trying to get there? Because you already know where you were in the past and you know where you are today, right? Maybe the only useful thing here is theme of the day in the future. This will probably be useful if you start out and start reading for yourself, and you'll be reading for yourself primarily in the beginning, or you read for someone else. And even with that, it's too small of a spread. A better one to grow your reading habit is the theme of the day, challenge, and advice. And that's probably something you want to progress to from 1 card pool. I would say start with 1 card pool, and we'll talk about how you develop this, and then come to the 3rd card spread, and don't try to force it. Start with just small, simple 1 card pool and move here. So if you're looking at this, for instance, you can do this as a daily pool, or if you pull on time, you can do weekly pulls. And this would be the theme of tomorrow, let's say, or the day. If you start in the morning, you'll be wrapping up something important and also maybe feeling a little bit tired. And the challenge with it is that when you're tired, it's hard to find balance. So if you're wrapping up, you may be rushing things a little bit. That's your challenge. And the advice is, well, celebrate your wins. With every closure, with every tiredness comes a relief. And perhaps there's something in this that can make you happy. And that's how you keep a balance. You see what I did there? So gradually, you're building from 1 card pool to a cohesive story. And that's the whole idea. So once you do this comfortably, you can start looking at other spreads. But if you just starting out, this is what you stick with. How long? Let's talk about that. Now, this is a mistake that a lot of people do, and myself included. When I started reading, I was just reading, not the cards, but the books. And there are very many books, is that in proper English, that you can read about tarot. And they have so much good information there and some good stories, and you just don't want to stop. You want to continue absorbing that information. But reading tarot is an experiential learning. You cannot get the knowledge by just reading the book. So you have to actually read. And I will say that this was my mistake. I should have gone straight into the reading and the cheat sheet and using the encyclopedia or reference book as I showed you, rather than trying to accumulate more information. Books are still relevant and they're important, but you use them as you go to deepen your knowledge. My recommendation is do your reads in the morning. If you're getting ready for work or you just woke up and it's part of your routine, if you already have one, pull a card and do it for next 3 weeks. When you start feeling like you start recognizing the cards a little bit when you pull them out. And at the end of the day, you can reflect on what this card meant for you. If you forget what you pulled in the morning, take a photo. And before you go to bed, or maybe you come back from work, or when you're just wrapping up for the day, reflect on what's been happening with you for the whole day and connect it with the meaning of a card. Once you're ready in 3 weeks or whatever time it is when you start feeling ready, do 3-card pull. And I can promise you something interesting will happen. You start recognizing people or events and associate them with cards gradually. Now, it's a slow process. It will take time, but I guarantee you it will happen. And when it happens, you can start looking at bigger spreads, different books, more advanced learnings, and it will just start happening naturally. So 5 simple steps. Get a Rider-Waite-Smith-based deck, get yourself a reference book, build a cheat sheet or get one from the internet, print one out. Use the 2 spreads that I offered to you, 1-card pool and 3-card, theme of a day or week, challenge and advice. And finally, daily practice. Well, Dr. Kotnik here is telling me he's ready for his nap. I guess we're done. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe. If you would like me to create more videos like this, let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.